passport delays. Are you one of the many 2.5 million people waiting on your passport? If you are, you want to continue watching. What's up, Fantastic Family? It's your girl Fantastic, and I am back with another video. This video is an update. If you know and haven't been living in Amish country somewhere, or living behind a rock for the last year, then you know we have been in a pandemic. And in March, all the international borders closed up. That's March of 2020. And you could not travel outside of the United States. And the world shut down. All of our government, public and private sector businesses, they either shut down, they were like a bear, they hibernated, or they sent their employees home to work. And some businesses, although they were able to operate from home, there were certain things that you needed a live person there. For instance, if you worked at the IRS, they sent their employees home, but if someone's sending in mail and sending in checks and so forth, they needed someone actually there. And one of the businesses that closed down was the passport office. However, it was not a big deal because there was absolutely no traveling. But my big head butt, could no COVID stop me. I traveled. And when I went to Cancun back in September. That was the first international trip during COVID. I had already traveled domestically. So Cancun was the only trip that required a passport. And one of my customers that was traveling with me, her passport was expired. And we were going in the end of September, beginning of October. And she was like, I need to get my passport renewed. And that probably, I think she put it in the mail July the 1st. Then she called the passport office because she noticed they cashed her check right away. So she knew that they had her information or whatever. Renewals are done a little bit differently from your first appointment passport. So she called the passport office and she was like, hey, I have a trip planned on this and this day. Can you give me some information? And they let her know that they hadn't processed her passport yet, but that they took her number and her email and they would update her. So she got an email as well as a text every step of the way, every process. And they called her and said, they sent a text and an email. And they said, we're putting your passport in the mail. We left on a Friday. She got her passport that Monday before we left. So of course we were sitting on pins and needles, but not as much because they notified her and said, we're putting it in the mail. And I had another friend, hers was a passport renewal, but her husband's was a new passport. And I think theirs came back in exactly 2 months. But that was during the pandemic while everything was shut down. Fast forward to now, borders, almost all borders, I think all borders have opened back up. And there's this backlog of like over 2 million passports. And what typically pre-COVID, when you apply for your passport, it said 4 to 6 weeks. And if you did it expedited, 2 to 3 weeks. Now, when I redid my passport about 8 years ago, I didn't do expedited or anything. I went in with all my documents and my passport was in my hand literally in 2 weeks. But now, well, I won't say post COVID because COVID is still going on. During COVID, now getting a passport, it's saying 18 weeks. And if it's a renewal, it's saying 12 weeks. Well, I have a customer that is planning to travel in September. And I've been telling her since last year, girl, when she had 6 months left, because a lot of countries will not, Costa Rica is one for sure, that will not let you enter if your passport, if you got 6 months on your passport, you cannot enter. So I advise you at the 1 year mark, start trying to renew your passport. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to do it, but, nothing's open. And then now she's booked a trip. She went to get the passport picture and she said, y'all got me messed up. She said the picture was so ugly, she wasn't putting that picture on nothing. She said she told the lady, you can have that and I'll be back. So I'm like, girl, you need to hurry up. You rather have an ugly picture on your passport than not have one. So fast forward, she's done all that. And now she's sitting on pins and needles. And they told her at the passport office, they emailed her application and told her she could pay an additional fee to have it expedited. And they're telling her right now 18 weeks. Well, her trip is in October. No, it's in September. So it's kind of, I texted her this morning. I was like, hey, you heard anything? Do you need me to reach out to anybody? And she's like, no, I'm not going to panic until the middle of August. So I said, okay, cool. I'll stop stressing too. But good thing she did. She's fully insured. So in the event she can't go, she can't get her money back or whatever. Some of my travel agent friends are telling me that their clients, and they are as well, reaching out to their congressmen, explaining to them what's going on, and the congressperson is able to contact the passport office and they're pushing the passports through that way. I haven't personally tried that, but this is what I'm being told: contact your Congress office. And traditionally in the past, you have passport offices. The closest one to me would be New Orleans, where there's one in Miami. I think there's one in California or somewhere on the West Coast. And there's one in New York that you can walk into and say, hey, I want to get a passport, and be able to get a passport in 4 hours. But you had to have a ticket and be going somewhere in the next 2 weeks. That has been the plan. But now, because of COVID, you can't even walk in to get an appointment. And if they do let you get an appointment by any chance, they're saying that it has to be an extreme emergency. For instance, you have family members overseas that's sick and you're trying to get to them, or whatever. It has to be an extreme emergency to get your passport. And that's just the passports. They said the visas and so forth, you would need a visa if you were going somewhere like to Dubai. You would need, not just the passport, you would need that additional documentation. And they said it's taking even longer. So my advice to you is, um, if you're in that 6 month window and you think you're gonna go somewhere anytime soon, go ahead and start getting your passport renewed, or go ahead and start the passport application. Because what the passport office is saying is the post office is so backlogged, which we do know that the post office said they're behind and so forth. And since they're so backlogged, so your time does not start the day your passport is processed or put in the mail. Your time actually starts when they receive it. So you can't go today and say, let me count 18 weeks. That's not how it works. If it takes 6 weeks to get from the post office to the passport office, once it's received there, then you start your 18 weeks. So that's like really, really inconvenient. So my advice is to get on top of your passport, because they are backlogged. And even if you pay you can get an expedited passport, which I think is like an additional $60, and then pay another, it's a little bit under $20 to get it expedite shipped. Even with that $80, you're still looking at 12 weeks and not the 18 weeks. So they say they're trying to hire additional staff to process it, but it's like $2 million, because I have customers, I had trips that canceled last year, 2 trips. But look, I ain't never stopped going. When they said you could go, I went. But I have a lot of customers that have vouchers and they're ready. I think I've only had 2 customers to use their vouchers, but others, they say they're ready. They're ready to rock and roll. So I advise you, people got money. They've gotten stimuluses, and right now they're refunding people that were laid off last year. The way they tax the unemployment, they're doing refunds on that. Currently they're doing a child tax credit. They're doing the idle advances and increases. PPP. People got money. People been stuck in their house for over a year, and they are ready to rock and roll. So my advice to you, if you are waiting on a passport, I want to say keep waiting, but that's not nice. Reach out to your congressperson and see what they can do to help you. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. And do me a favor and comment down below and let me know if you are waiting on a passport. Until the next video, bye, and I love you all, family.